Hi, and welcome into this industry update with Sifted. I'm Isaiah Buchanan, assistant producer here at FreightWaves. Labor shortages have been creating some issues for both carriers and shippers. And joining me to address those issues is Caleb Nelson, the Chief Growth Officer at Sifted. Caleb, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Isaiah. Thanks so much for having me on.
We're glad to have you in, Caleb. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. How are labor shortages impacting carriers' operations, and what can shippers do to prepare for these impacts?
I think this is one of the biggest issues that shippers are facing in the current moment, and it's extremely painful for them. We're seeing shippers have a serious degradation of their on-time delivery percentage when they use, FedEx or UPS for final mile delivery. There's some interesting things that are happening right now, and whether it's FedEx, UPS, regional carriers, the common thread is that every carrier is dealing with some really labor shortage issues right now. FedEx in particular is struggling. On their earnings release call that they had it before the end of last year, they touched on this themselves, saying that, hey, look, they're going to struggle with this at the end of this last year, all the way to going into 2022. They mentioned that in order to be able to process their shipments through their network appropriately, they are rerouting up to 600,000 packages a day back then to other facilities that actually have enough personnel to do the sort seg work and get final mile delivery for those shipments out to shippers' customers. And for an efficiency organization like FedEx, rerouting 600,000 packages a day to other locations is extremely inefficient. So that positioning really puts it at a spot of the pain is going to come back to most shippers. We're seeing some shippers get into the 70% on-time delivery percentage range, where before it was in the 90s. And I believe it's going to get a little worse before it gets better. But I do think being able to make sure that you have the right expectations set with your clients that are ordering product from you on proper delivery times. Be aware that you might have a little bit more damage that might come through because those shipments are being touched and handled a little bit more frequently than they normally would. And really working with your partner carrier to make sure that you're getting the best service that you possibly can get based upon where you're located in the country and where your clients are located as well.
So on top of labor shortages, the volume of shipments is exceeding the capabilities of carriers' networks. How will this change how they do business?
Yeah, I think this is, as you just nailed it, Isaiah. It's a carrier's world right now. We're in a carrier's market where the carriers are really overwhelmed and flooded, literally, with freight in the given moment, and that really makes navigating through, possible negotiation with your carriers or a new pricing agreement trickier than it has been in the past. In the past, it's been, a lot of shippers have followed kind of the adage of, hey, if this carrier won't give me what I want, I'm going to pull my business and go give it to another carrier. Well, when everybody's overwhelmed with freight right now, that emotional response doesn't work extremely well. We're seeing a lot of shippers needing to understand their data better and get into a spot where they can talk to their partner carrier with logic and reasoning, backed with their own data that they know. So shippers need to really understand what's happening in the four corners of their business so that they can effectively communicate it with their partner carrier and get really market appropriate rates, even at a time where the carriers are flooded with freight. I would also say this really puts a lot of emphasis or work back on the shipper to look inward on ways that they can improve themselves. The shipping costs, really, the contract is only one portion of the shipper's cost. It goes into a lot of operational improvements or a lot of operational fees that are causing for some of those shipping costs to go in to increase. So we're encouraging a lot of our customers to look internally, look at box sizes, distribution centers, ways that they can be able to reduce their overall operational fees to really improve their bottom line experience. I think is really important for most shippers today in a carrier's market, on top of some of the labor concerns that we chatted about.
Caleb, how will regional carriers fills some voids left by FedEx and UPS labor and capacity problems.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really big hot button item for shippers leading into this year and honestly into next. Shippers are understanding that gone are the days of single sourcing where they're providing all of their individual business to one carrier. It's gotten a lot of bigger shippers into some hot water with some carrier capacity issues and labor shortage issues, where the carriers are literally coming back and saying, look, we can't take all that freight. To diversify and to bring a little bit more of a carrier mix lessens the risk that a shipper has and improves the overall client experience where they can get faster delivery. Yes, it does add some complexity to a shipper's distribution network, but when done successfully, it is a very impactful and very positive experience that most shippers are glad that they went through the process to actually do. We're seeing some really unique things happen with some regional carriers across the country, On Track, LaserShip, Lone Star, and some consolidation that might take place leading into as the year progresses. But there are a lot of interesting ways that you can be able to diversify and bring in more of a carrier mix that will really help add some value to you as an end shipper at the end of the day. I would also recommend that you do so sooner rather than later. As you get closer to Q3, Q4, some of those regional carriers are going to be shutting off, bringing on new business. And really getting out ahead of it right now is a really good way to be able to look at how much can I peel out of my FedEx or my UPS pricing agreement to provide to a regional carrier without decimating that FedEx or UPS pricing agreement to start with. And then secondly, what regional carrier do I need to be providing that to, and what zones across the United States? It is a really excellent way to be able to look at your business and say, what additional value can I provide to my end customer that's ordering product from me?
Caleb, like you said, it's a carrier's world right now. How should shippers adjust their approach and how they negotiate their rates?
Yeah, I think understanding, as we talked about, negotiating from logic and from data, now is the time to have a really good understanding of how you're viewed in the eyes of your partner carrier. And in order to do that, looking at your data, looking at areas in which you're profitable for the carrier, areas in which you might not be because of some SKUs or products that you ship out that might be bigger, bulkier. I think we've all ordered product from Amazon or whomever that we order this. We get this massive box on our doorstep. We open it up, think, what the heck is this? And it's a little chapstick tube, and thinking it's such a wasteful experience to have that happen. You're taking up a lot of space in the carrier's truck or airplane that could be used for other shipments to fit that in. I think understanding that it's a two-way street in a negotiation, that you need to be looking at things that you can do to improve and be a better and more efficient partner with your partner carrier. And likewise, you're going to ask for them to provide some concessions in specific areas. In a logic-driven, data-driven world, will be everything for shippers that are trying to make sure that they keep their costs in check for 2022. Long are the days of negotiating out of emotion of give me what I want or I'm walking. It's pretty easy for the carriers to say, okay, no problem, when they are overwhelmed with freight right now.
Caleb, thank you for taking the time and giving us this information on how both carriers and shippers can navigate this labor shortage. If people want some more information about Sifted, where can they go?
Right to our website, sifted.com. We're doing some really unique things on data modeling, data ingestion, data normalization. At our core, we're really a data organization that helps our shippers or our customers make better decisions when it comes to where they should possibly put a distribution center next, or new box sizes, or really understanding just the tenets of their business from a transportation standpoint in ways that they can be more efficient.
Thank you again, Caleb, for giving us all this information. This has been an industry update by Sifted. You can find this update and more at tv.freightwaves.com.